Hey everyone, and welcome to another one of our videos. Today we're going to be doing the rear shock replacement on my 2014 F-150 Raptor. We're just going to be covering the rears. I'm going to have the part numbers in the video description since the shock part number varies between Super Cab and Super Crew variants, but the actual process is identical. And we're going to be using just some of the stock Fox shocks. You can see I've got a brand new one right here. You can buy these as Motorcraft part numbers. That's the, in my mind, best way to get these shocks brand new at this point, and I think the only way. Other than going to a Ford parts dealership and probably buying under a Ford part number as well. But that said, you can get these on Rock Auto, you can get them from Summit Racing, a few other places, depending on what time of the year it is and what year it is and so on and so forth. Some places have better deals than others, but do your research, look at different options before you buy. You'll find something that is good to go. And the reason I'm doing a new replacement instead of a rebuild on this truck is because I want to put brand new fresh shocks on here, take the old ones off, and whenever it comes time, close to time I should say, for the next shock rebuild cycle, I'm gonna go ahead and take those old ones, rebuild them, and basically have a core loop that I can loop through this truck and my other one as needed between the two. So I always have a set of rebuildable cores on the shelf essentially. I also don't know really what the condition is of the shocks that are currently on the truck. When they're on the vehicle, the shock guard hides most of the shaft and whatnot. So I don't know if I need new shafts for my shocks. If I don't, obviously a rebuild entails all of the seals and everything. So I wanted to go ahead and throw brand new ones in, take the old ones out. When it comes time, we'll figure out exactly what parts we need, order those, and then go through the actual rebuild process at that point. All of that said, long-winded, we're gonna go ahead and throw these on the truck. It's pretty darn straightforward. This is definitely the easier between the front and the rear. So let's go ahead and get to the back of the truck, show you what we're working with, and we're gonna get started on the process. Alrighty, so we're here on the passenger side. This is just where we're gonna start. And you can see we have the top of the shock absorber shown right here. And basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull the nut off the back side, or loosen the nut off the back side. We have an 18mm nut and a 15mm bolt. Gonna just take an impact from here, let her rip, knock the thing loose, leaving the bolt in place, and then rinse and repeat underneath. Again, 18mm nut on the left there where you can see the bolt thread sticking out, and then a 15mm bolt on the right. And once we get both of those free, or the nuts off at least I should say, we're gonna go ahead and knock the lower bolt out so the shock can pop out of the mount, and we're gonna pull the top bolt out at that point so we can free the whole shock. So I'll capture as much of that as I can on film so you can see what's going on. And then we'll move on to the next step, which is going to be putting the new shock in at that point, basically. Alrighty, so before we go drop the new shock into place, just some comparison observation stuff here. Old shock, new shock, obviously still in the box. Old one's in fairly good shape, all things considered. This one's got at least 50,000 miles or so on it. Hasn't been rebuilt from what I can see because there's no Schrader valve on this one. It's still got the little plastic pellet and everything in there. But the bushings are toast in this one. They're all cracked to pieces. And it's not the easiest one to compress that I've ever had, but I can definitely stand it upright and compress it, putting a good amount of my 200 pounds and change on it. So. This one, the new one, very difficult to compress in comparison. And this one I can fully compress. And it'll rebound still, but it's getting there, it's worn. So, prime candidate for rebuild because it is in good condition other than being dirty. That's the good news here. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and get the new shock out of the bag, and we should be able to slot it into the truck pretty darn quickly and easily. All right, so you can see we have the new shock in with the strap still on it. The truck is not at ride height. It is jacked up until the rear tire is basically coming off the ground, so full droop. It's just barely touching the ground right now. And even at full droop, you still have to jack the shock into place a little bit. So note to anyone doing this, you're not going to end up doing it on the ground like maybe you've seen on some forums or read on some forums. Today's one of the days when you find out the internet lied a little bit. So, or maybe they used to strap these shocks differently than they do now. Who knows? Either way, got this one into place. Basically all you need to do is hang the top, get the bottom kind of into place at full droop. It's pretty close, but it's not there. and then throw a piece of wood underneath with a jack and get the bolt slid through. Not too crazy once you figure out exactly how you have to do it, but that's basically the only way to do it on the ground, unless you have just an absolute boatload of strength and can compress these shocks by hand. I don't. So I've got the bottom bolt through with a nut just started, same with the top. I'm gonna go ahead and torque both of these to spec and we'll show you the finished product. Alrighty, we have the new shock installed here. You can see, taking a look from up above, everything is in place. I always like to paint mark my bolts after they're fully tightened and torqued. These ones torque to 66 foot-pounds, upper and lower. So that's the factory torque spec for these. Make sure you get that dialed in and get these torqued to spec. It should compress the mounts a little bit around the bushings and the shocks, and you should be good to go at that point. And again, always recommend paint marking so you can make sure that your hardware is not loosening over time, especially if you're taking your truck off-road and whatnot. Otherwise, pretty much good to go at this point. Not as easy as I thought it would be, but also not that difficult. Just my expectation was different from what reality was. Doesn't mean that reality was particularly difficult. Another thing too, whenever you're torquing the hardware, recommended to do it ride height, although the way that these bushings work, at least from what I've seen, they've got a metal sleeve, so whenever the mounts compress, they don't actually compress on rubber, they compress on metal. And so you really aren't making much of a difference torquing it at ride height versus torquing it at droop, at least in theory. Again, always recommended to torque at ride height. But with that, we're wrapped up on this side. I still have one more side to do, but I'm not gonna film it. It's the same darn process. And with that, I want to thank you all for watching. Let me know down in the comment section if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take care.